Hi, Chris Popper here in Bangor. I'm joined by Coach Mark Shields on Veterans Day in his man cave down in the palatial Shields estate. And Coach, it's it sucks. I mean, that's basically what we've talked about the last 5 minutes. It sucks. One team's going to win, one team's going to lose in that final game, and unfortunately, MDI lost. But the score didn't indicate how close the game was. I mean, the final score was what, 35-0. 14-0 at the half, and then things just seemed to go south um, in the second half.
Yep, no doubt, Chris. We knew we would have to have a perfect game plan and execute that game plan. And um, we talked about special teams. We talked about turnovers being a huge thing. Control the clock, try to keep their offense off the field, and unfortunately, we weren't able to do a lot of that. um,
Yeah,
so
two fumbles and an interception, and
yeah,
one of those fumbles and that interception were real drive killers because you were deep in Camden Hills territory.
right. So you're right. I mean, you look at the score, 35 nothing. You think, oh my God. If you didn't see the game, you'd be like, holy cow, we just got annihilated. But it didn't feel that way that day. And I mean, you're right. We had three drives that I felt like we could have scored on, and we gave up a couple big plays here or there. And hats off to Camden Hills. They've been the top team in the North all season, and they proved it on Saturday. They came out in the second half, and you could tell they decided that they wanted to be the team to go to the state championship. When they punched the third score in, then I was getting like, oh no, I think we're headed in the wrong direction. But you're right, even down 14-0 at halftime, I felt pretty good because I felt like we didn't play our best football and we were still in it, and we had the ball coming out of the
Right.
half. So I kind of felt like, well, maybe we can make something happen here. But when we went, I think we went 4-and-out, punted, and then they scored right after that. At that point, I was thinking, yep, this isn't looking good. And credit the kids, they stopped. They never stopped fighting. They played hard all day, and things just didn't go our way. And I think we just got beat by a better team. They were just all around probably better than us, and had been more consistent throughout the season. So, credit to them, and congratulations to Camden Hills, and best of luck in the state championship on Saturday down in Auburn.
Yeah, we want them to bring home the gold ball, no doubt about it. They have a neat tradition which I wasn't aware of until I saw it, and you guys need a pregame tradition. They all got powdered donuts, and all the coaches, they're like cheering with each other. They all before every game, I was like, is this a ritual? And they're like, oh yeah, before every game. I mean, even on a Friday night game, they're eating powdered donuts. So, I mean, how can you go wrong with powdered donuts? But you gotta figure out your tradition.
I guess I didn't
Um,
see that. I never seen
well,
that.
I never saw it until I was up in the booth, and I want to thank Jeff Hart for allowing me in the booth. That was, yeah, that wouldn't have been a fun day to be outside, and I mean, it was just, yeah, it was what it was. So we do have the Campbell's conference, um, 8-man large school first and second team. And first of all, the Hollis Schwam, the Camden Hills quarterback, is the player of the year. And I mean, boy, I'll tell you, he deserved that. Is their public address announcer. We were talking pregame, and I was saying, "Holy!" It was like he was just a scrambling Fran Tarkenton, and he brought it back to this the modern era when he said he was like Michael Vick when he was scrambling as a quarterback, and I was like, yeah, that's pretty true, and that's well deserved. Um, Elias Burne voted by the coaches, the assistant coach of the year, and hats off to Elias, huh?
Yeah, I was really happy for him, well deserving, and he's done it the right way. He's worked himself up through the ranks, working with the AYS and then eventually joining us last year. And you know, I've been giving him more and more responsibility. Last year he was my special teams coordinator, and then he was a position coach. And this year I gave him the offense. He and Chris James worked with the offense together, and just does a tremendous job. He's a high energy guy. He's a super structured guy. We talked about this on the show. A Marine. So very.
I still hear him calling out everybody that first Monday in August. I mean, he doesn't need a bullhorn or a microphone to be heard.
Yeah, it's been nice because he's been the bad guy a lot of the times this year, and normally I'm the bad guy.
Right?
So he played that role well. You're right. I mean, August 18th at 6 a.m. Well, actually, it was after 6 because they showed up a little late. That we had him lined up.
It's still echoing in my head how they would never, ever, ever be late to practice again.
I mean, typically the head coach will address the team to start the season, but he went right. He like pushed me out of the way, got to the team. It was like, start running laps because you're late. And I was like, okay, well, that's a positive way to start the season.
Right? Absolutely.
But no, he's been great. He's been great.
All right. So other first team members, Kenneth Stillwell is a running back, Nate Olson and Joey Bennett on the offensive line, Nate Olson and Kenneth Stillwell on the defensive line, Lincoln Gray is linebacker, and Asa Joyce is the defensive back. Those were all first team selections. And then second team selections, kind of as a flex player, all around good player, Ripley Hawkins and Henry Trombetto. And, all great job by those guys all season long.
Yeah, no doubt. Once again, well deserving. I was really happy for Henry and Ripley, seniors. And of course, Ripley's been with us for 4 years. And, we, Coach Mossing brought up a good point through our group text yesterday. He can't remember a player that he knew that played offensive line. He's played receiver. He's now played quarterback. He's played defensive back. He's played linebacker. I mean, offensive line. There's just not many positions he hasn't played for us.
Right.
I mean, you just don't see that typically. So, I was really happy for him. And then Henry is a 2-year player and a guy that's worked extremely hard. He probably didn't know a lot about organized football before he came to the squad 2 years ago. So happy for him. And then you're right, other 5 guys. I mean, Lincoln Gray had a phenomenal year at linebacker. Asa Joyce, phenomenal year at defensive back. And they both played well on the offensive side of the ball. Joey Bennett, of course, he's been a anchor offensive line for many, many years now. He and Nate Olson, and we were able to run the ball behind those guys, much of the year. And that was sort of our identity this year was, obviously running the ball and pounding, the offensive line. And those guys, they were able to open up holes for us and make that happen. And then Kenneth, of course, only a sophomore. So, a two-way all-conference kid, that's pretty impressive at running back and defensive line. And, it was clear later on in the season that a lot of teams were, they were
keen on him.
Try to stop Kenneth because he was definitely one of our go-to guys. So, yeah, happy for all those guys and very well deserving.
And I personally have to give a shout out to Briella McIntyre. The only girl on the team, Briella, she was literally running laps around everybody on that first day back in August. And, she was there. I don't think, you and I talked, she hadn't missed a practice or many practices at all. And I really hope she sticks with it because if she loves football, I mean, I remember her kicking off one game and, hats off because, if you, girl power is what I'm going to say. If you want to do it, go out and do it and way to represent.
Yeah, no doubt. She might have been the only girl in the conference, I believe. I don't remember seeing any other girls playing. So after the game on Saturday against Camden Hills, I talked to the kids about a lot of things, but one of the things I talked about was Briella and how
Yeah.
proud of her I was and how much courage it takes to do what she did. And you're right. She like if you watched the practice, she was right there and sometimes ahead of many of the young men out there. So she should
She's
be.
kind of like the Rudy of the team.
Yeah, yeah, no doubt, no doubt, and always smiling. Came to practice with a great attitude, and I think she learned a lot. She's a good little athlete. We saw that over in the summer. So I'm hoping that I think she might play basketball. So I'm looking forward to seeing how she does this winter as well.
Yeah, I mean, just awesome, and that's kind of that team mentality. I mean, she wasn't going to be a starter, but she was there. She was practicing. She was on the look team, and you know, just that Trojan spirit, Trojan pride.
Yep.
That's it. Coach, I got to thank you. I mean, you are the only coach in, and we've talked about this in probably, well, in the state of Maine that does a twice weekly coaches show. And, we know that other coaches tune into it because they're trying to find out what you're going to run. And we kind of evolved our format or haven't posted the Thursday um, reports until late Friday and play it before the game because we don't want to give everybody that insight because, yeah, everybody exchanges tapes or now can see it on Huddle, but only you are the one that, talks about, well, these are our keys to the game. And, you've made time during your prep periods, before school, after school, on a holiday like today. And, I need to thank you. And now, before you get in trouble, you need to thank your wife. Go ahead.
Yeah, thanks, Chris. I definitely can get myself in trouble. So I do have a list of people to thank, and I know I'll forget somebody, so please don't get upset at me. I'm getting old, and my memory's gone, according to my wife. Um, so we had numerous team dinners this year, and Side Street Cafe, Dog and Pony, the Crocker House. They donated foods um, for three of them. Also, the Grassa family had us over one night, and next thing you know, we have lobster and whatever else. It was just an amazing meal. Hannaford, they donated food for our AYS barbecue early in the season, and then we had multiple parents donating food and helping out for the team dinners. We had two or three team dinners that was like a potluck sort of thing. Um, and I will give a special shout out. Sherry Olson was instrumental. Each year, I try to have a mom help me because I need women in my life to help me for sure. And
A team
uh,
mom.
yep, and so she took that role this year and organized all that snacks on the bus and that sort of thing. And then there were other moms, and I'm not going to list because I know I'll leave somebody else, so I don't want to upset anybody. But there were numerous families that helped out, so we really do appreciate that. Jack Merrill, my stat guy, once again does not get paid to do this, but travels with the team, all over the state, Yarmouth, Maine, and back, and
Walter Churchill for
Walter.
fantastic photos all season long.
Yep, yeah, Walter, for sure, and he's been doing this a long time for us, both he and Jack. Once again, for no pay, they just do it because they want to support the school and the program, and so we can't thank those guys enough. The cheerleaders, once again, did a phenomenal job. I know they're out there on those cold Friday nights as well, and supporting the team, and we do appreciate that. They get the crowd fired up, and so that's awesome. And Mr. Dow, of course, we got to thank him because he's the boss. Once again, my line on Mr. Dow is he never says no. If there's anything that I need or my staff needs, he's going to give it to us.
I,
So
I he never tells me yes. I mean, so it's just the opposite. And,
well, he's
and
so
if
busy telling me yes, he can't tell everybody yes, Chris.
and if it's picture day, I mean, if you're at picture day, you've never seen. Yeah, it's just picture day stressful. Yes.
Yeah, that's Mr. Dowd's favorite day. Typically, he's always in a good mood for picture day.
Holy,
That's
holy,
usually
holy.
that's my least favorite day because I
And I get yelled at, and I'm doing is snapping photos, and it's always my fault for whatever happens. For
yeah,
how many years? I mean, when I retire, they're going to need a new scapegoat. Is what it's. I got to
yeah,
start grooming a new
yeah.
scapegoat.
We all like to have you around, Chris, so he can
Oh
yell,
yeah,
and then that distraction from yelling at us.
yeah.
So that's nice. Uh, I want to thank Mark Arnold. Most people know Mark. He's been an assistant coach for many years, was a head coach for a few years. He did all my film stuff. I mean, there's a lot behind the scenes that goes on that people have no idea about, and a lot of it has to do with film breakdown and film exchange with other schools and reaching out to other schools for their film. And there's just a lot. And Mark takes care of all that. I don't have to worry about any of that. So I'm super, super grateful to him for doing that. And of course, Chris Popper, right? This guy here, he's once again, I've always said I don't know when you sleep, um,
Look at the
because
bags under my eyes, right?
yeah, I mean we get back from wherever Yarmouth, and next morning there's the post of the game and all the stats and pictures, and so I'm still trying to figure out when sleep does happen for you. But I really can't thank you enough. We've been doing this, I think, since 2006, so it's
Yeah,
been
I mean, next year will probably be our 20th year of football. I mean,
holy cow.
together.
Yep.
Yeah,
We're old married couple, Chris.
right.
My gosh. I want to thank, of course, my coaches. Those guys, Chris James, Wayne Gray, Elias Burne, Will Mossing. Like I say, these guys actually have jobs outside of coaching, right? They have lives outside of coaching, and the time that they commit to it is phenomenal. Every weekend Chris James and Elias Burne were meeting at Chris's house for 2 or 3 hours on a Sunday or a Saturday away from their families. And, Will's spending a huge amount of time breaking down. He helped me with the defensive side of the ball. And he and I would text back and forth for game plans over the weekend, getting ready for Monday. And then Wayne Gray, he's a volunteer. He doesn't get paid at all. And he does this, rides the bus to all these places and gives up his time. And I know he's busy with fishing. And so those guys I've always said, head coaches either get too much credit or too much blame. And I always get too much credit because I've had some phenomenal assistant coaches over the years. And this group is they're right there. They're just amazing guys and support me 100%. And they're super loyal to me and the kids in the program. So, and they love coaching kids and they love the game of football. So
All right,
it's
before you thank your wife, we got to thank the band too, because they were there, miserable temperatures sometimes, and just fired up the crowd.
yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Thank you. Yes, the band, uh, once again, like the cheerleaders, they're out there, on those cold Friday nights, right? Or those rainy nights, and they have instruments and, they're getting the crowd pumped up as well.
I'm
And
waiting for one of the kids who plays trumpet for their mouth to be stuck to the,
yeah,
right?
right.
Call the
So
fire
Matt,
department to unhook
yeah,
them.
yeah. So Matthew Mayo and, his staff and the kids, that's great. And, um, yes, and then obviously the players, I told them that after the game, we've asked a lot of them since August 18th. We asked a lot of them over the summer before the season even started, and they never said no. Those kids, they did exactly what we asked them to do. We asked them to go above and beyond at times, especially when you get into the playoffs. Um, and the kids, they just worked extremely hard, and I'm super proud of them. For any team to get to a Northern Maine championship, they should be super proud of their efforts, their accomplishments. I told them, leave the field with your head high because you have nothing to hold your head down about. Um, they just, they worked hard to get to that point, and I was so pleased for them. And I know they were disappointed. We were all disappointed, but hey, they did bring home some hardware to the school that will
Right.
be there forever. So
Let me also add Dan Viber to your list. I mean, the addition of Dan to the school, I don't know how many years ago, was just such a game changer by having that on-site trainer to work with the kids. not only at the games, but at the practices, at checking in with the kids during the week. And I mean, doesn't he run the weight room during the summer? And I
Yep.
mean,
Yeah, he does.
he's just and hats off to MDI because they were one of the first that realized that they needed a trainer and not have the coaches taping kids up. And he's made such a difference to that school.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest shift for us when Dan came on because, a kid were to get injured on the field and they go to the doctor's office and usually doctors, I get it. They would say, well, 2 weeks and we'll reevaluate, and there's no physical therapy to get them back typically. And Dan's doing all that therapy to get those kids back on the field. All the impacting tests he does, he does impacting tests from the elementary schools all the way through the high school. So that was a huge shift to keep our kids safe. So you're right. He travels
I
with
remember doctors coming out of the stands to look at kids. And, but Dan's right on that sidelines and has that relationship with the kids to be able to, at, talk to them, freely and find out exactly how they're doing and safely get them back onto the court or onto the field and, looking out for the kids' best interests all the time.
Yeah, no doubt. It's it's been huge. It's been huge for all the programs at the high school, and our kids are so fortunate to have Dan. So that's been great. And then yeah. So lastly, my wife Holly. Yeah, we've been doing this. So I've been at MDI for 30 years. I didn't coach football for 1 year. I had that retirement for a year, and then I came back, if you remember. Um, so right. So just wrapped up 29 years of coaching and that's it's a huge commitment for her. It's a huge commitment for me, but especially when my kids were young, she had to carry the load as far as taking care of them while I was out on the practice field, coaching a silly game and she's supported me 100%. And has always been there. So I can't thank her enough. And she we'll talk in the off season here and see where we're at for next year, but stay tuned.
All right. Well, at least this year she did not schedule any weddings after football games because last year it seemed like there was a wedding every Saturday when you had Friday night football.
Yes, and I have a daughter getting married this coming football season. So
Oh my.
yeah, it's just poor planning on her part, but so we've been talking a lot about that. I've been mostly listening, but yeah, we'll figure that all out.
Yeah. Yeah. That Friday, rehearsal dinner, it might be late at night or it might be early in the morning or whatever, right? Yeah. Good luck with that.
Yeah, we'll go with that for now.
Good luck with that. Your daughter's going to see this and just beat on you already.
Oh yeah.
I've got to thank my wife too because it's so many nights late and writing stuff and we can't do this without our wives. It's no doubt about it.
We're not smart enough to do that.
No, heck no. And I got to thank all the advertisers too, all the listeners, all the viewers, and again, thank you to you because you've given us unprecedented access for 19 years, and really, really appreciate that. And yeah, maybe we'll do it again next year.
Yeah.
All right. Enjoy the rest of your holiday today, and yeah, again, thanks so much. Anything else that we missed? Last chance.
I think we got it all. We're going over to see the baby today, Elias and Jasmine's baby. So I've seen him already, but my wife has not. So we're making the trip over today.
Oh, that's fantastic. All right. Well, tell him congratulations, and not only for the baby and his wife, but for the assistant coach of the year. All right, coach. Thanks so much. Well, I'll see you soon anyway.
All right,
Not like
Chris.
we're going to be strangers till next August.
Yeah,
All right.
I'll see you for the picture day for winter sports.
All right. Distract Bunky. All right. Have a good day.
All right, you too. Thanks.